So if you're noticing something that's making you feel uncomfortable and maybe you're worried or anxious, that's not the time to approach a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When you can center yourself and get your own breath quieted and ask questions, do not make statements or demands like you shouldn't, this isn't, whatever. Questions. How you feeling about what you been up to lately? Um,
Yeah.
are you feeling well? How can I help you right now in the situation that you're in?
Yeah.
Asking questions is always a softer way to approach someone than starting to tell them what you think they could, would, or
Yeah.
should do.
Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we are here with the Anxiety Avenger, Bonnie Brindle. And she is here talking about anxiety with our older adult populations. And remember, it affects 1 in every 5 seniors. So it's something that's a very important topic that we're talking about. And I am learning so much about this topic. It's overwhelming. And so, Bonnie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here again.
You said something to me when we first met, and you talked about anxiety becoming your superpower. Tell me a little bit about what that means.
I call my anxiety a superpower because I have learned to manage it, harness it, know when it's coming, know what to do when it shows up, and release it without medication. So when I was stuck in debilitating panic disorder and
Hmm.
agoraphobia, and I dropped out of college because I couldn't go to class, it wasn't feeling like a superpower.
Hmm. Hmm.
But because I chose to survive that and get the help that I needed, and many, many things that I dealt with meditation and journaling and conversation and being out in nature and all the things that helped me to get better,
Hmm. Hmm.
I have a body of work that I want to share with others because I no longer suffer for that kind of anxiety.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously, we may not recognize if someone is suffering from anxiety. What are some signs do you see with older adults that they have anxiety?
Some of the things that I've noticed with older adults are maybe they don't want you to come over to the house as much. You might not get invited in. You may not be allowed to converse with them about things that are sort of deep and important. If you try to ask, how they're doing and you're noticing things aren't going well, you might be pushed back. You may
Hmm.
be more easily to anger than they have been before and be frustrated, and just struggle with the idea of thinking about what the future might be from where
Hmm.
they are at the time. But
Hmm.
most often, the anger, the frustration, and the withdrawal is what I see
Hmm. Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
that caregivers and families experience with their seniors.
Sure. So how do you, if you notice any of these things, how do you approach someone to have these conversations? Because I know they have to be very difficult.
Very difficult. And so caregivers, family members need to, first of all, center themselves before attempting to step into a conversation. So if you're a senior, you're noticing something that's making you feel uncomfortable and maybe you're worried or anxious, that's not the time to approach a conversation.
Hmm.
When you can center yourself and get your own breath quieted and ask questions, do not make statements or demands like you shouldn't, this isn't, whatever. Questions. How you feeling about what you been up to lately? Um,
Yeah.
are you are you are you feeling well? Are you having headaches or any
Hmm.
dizziness or anything going on for you? How can I help you right now in the
Hmm.
situation that you're in?
Yeah.
Asking questions is always a softer way to approach someone than starting to tell them what you think they could, would, or
Yeah.
should do. So that's very important. And then if you're looking for resources, every town almost or close by has a senior center. Senior centers have a lot of information about how to approach, how to converse with your senior, and they have a lot of experience helping people.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well as the
Yeah.
American Council on Aging. You can get on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
site. and get a lot of tips and ideas as well.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, your information on your website, I'm sure you have a ton of resources for people. And to work directly with people is really important to have those tools to recognize, hey, I'm feeling some anxiety. And obviously, if you have someone that suffers from anxiety and you're trying to help them, recognizing that you're seeing that it's anxiety. It's not about them as a person. It's about something else. It's the anxiety that they're feeling. It gets them off the defensive, wouldn't you think?
Yes, so you have to be really, really careful again about not making statements and not picking apart characteristics
Yeah, yeah,
because we all go on the defensive right away with that,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, and when people start telling you what to do, especially, oh my gosh, talk about a fraught relationship. An adult child, you're still the child. I don't care if you're 60 and
Yep,
your parent is 90,
yep.
they still see you and they still see themselves in the role as protector and controller and all the things,
Mhm.
right? And so do
Absolutely
we.
true.
It's really hard balance to strike when suddenly, the child is needing to help the elder. So
Hmm, hmm.
being very gentle is very, very important.
And being gentle when you say that is so valuable because again, dealing with that somebody that you love, they're going to push your buttons too. So there's this dynamic of, you know, if you have a long history with someone like an adult child or a spouse, what happens is you get locked into this, this trigger situation. So learning to, like you said, take a breath, pull yourself out of the situation. I remember when I was caring for my mom, she used to push my buttons all the time. And I learned a real key that I just walked around the block, say, Mom, I need a break. I'm going to go walk around the block. And the other thing that I had is I had several girlfriends that I could call and I could just vent to. And I could say, okay, and then I can go back to the situation and deal with it. And I think a lot of times we need to work on ourselves if we live with someone that has anxiety, is to learn not to be when we feel triggered, learn that feeling so that we can deal with our own self. And I mean, that's the dynamic, is it not?
That's absolutely true. And you're talking about responding instead of reacting, right?
Yeah.
So right
Oh,
away,
good phrase. I love that.
yeah, we need to respond, not react. And you went out and you moved your body, and maybe
Hmm.
you got a little bit of nature, saw some trees, and you also got it out of yourself.
And
And
I breathed.
you breathed. That's great. And you got it out of yourself by telling a friend rather than yelling at that person,
Hmm.
right?
Saying, you'll never guess what my mom did. And of course, the thing that's great about a lot of friends will say, what can I do to help? You're taking care of your mom or your dad. You know, be my friend. I need somebody to vent to. I need somebody to care about me too. And those are things I think that we all, when we're dealing with this scenario of caring for someone, or, whether we're a spousal caregiver or whether we're suffering from anxiety on our own,
Hmm.
to recognize it when it happens is probably your first step.
Yes, recognizing it is. And that's why I wrote The Path in my book, because I didn't recognize what my emotions were as a very young
Yeah.
person going into therapy. I couldn't even tell you how I felt. I just knew it wasn't okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
people get older a lot, go through a lot more years than I did before they start figuring those things out sometimes.
yeah. So, to our listeners, Bonnie Brindle is the Anxiety Avenger, and she is reachable on her website at bonniebrindle.com. She also has a book. She has all kinds of information, and we're going to post top 5 tips. And coming back in our next segment, we're going to give our listeners some really tips and tools right now in this hour. So we'll be right back right after this. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.